Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, so it's time for a new vlog. This week, the Tomb of Sargeras raid opened, or at least it opened on normal and heroic difficulties. Me and my guild went in there on our normal raid nights, which are Wednesdays and Thursdays. We don't raid Tuesdays for a couple of reasons, mostly because Tuesday is like beta test night. If there's going to be a problem with like a new raid or a new patch or like a new whatever, they're going to figure it out on Tuesday and then like hotfix it by Wednesday, so we get like the actual fixed version of things most of the time. Anyways, we raided Wednesday, Thursday. After 2 nights of raiding, so about 6 hours in or so, we are 9 of 9 normal. We cleared normal all the way up to Kil Jaeden, and then we are 3 of 9 heroic. I think we're going to be progressing at a pretty good clip through, not the rest of heroic, but at least another couple of bosses once we have some more time next week. But we're going to be clearing normal for at least a little bit to help gear up our raiders and people get like their tier and whatever, so that's kind of the plan. I'm surprised that we managed to kill normal Kil Jaeden on week 1. Typically with a new raid cycle, what we'll do is we'll kill up to the final boss on normal, and then we'll pull the final boss a couple times and be like, man, this fight's crazy, and then go to heroic and get some heroic gear from the earlier bosses before we then go back and kill the final boss on normal. But this week, we didn't really need to do that. We were making such good progress on Kil Jaeden that we decided to just stick with it and kill him. We had him down, I think, in about 6 pulls or so on normal, so he wasn't too crazy. Overall, my first impressions of Tomb are good. I do hope that they don't leave us in there forever, because I do see people chewing through this pretty quickly, but we'll see. I'm going to continue to make a video guide for each Tomb of Sargeras boss covering the normal and heroic mechanics over the next week or so. I have a bunch of normal footage. Now that we're clearing heroic, I'm getting some heroic footage to kind of mix in there, and hopefully I have all of those done in a reasonable time frame, but we'll see. So yeah, Tomb is a really cool raid. Personally, I feel like I wasn't quite ready to be actually raiding again, though. It feels so weird to just like sit down and play WoW for 3 hours at a time, like do one thing for a 3-hour stretch of time. I don't know what happened to me, but it's hard for me to do that now. That'll probably get better once we're into like, not farm, but we've gone through all of our fight explanations, we've caught everybody up on what they're supposed to be doing, and we're actually pulling the bosses as opposed to just like listening to our raid leaders talk about them. But it's a kind of a necessary phase at the beginning of every raid tier. What else happened this week? Midsummer event started, so we've got the Midsummer Fire Festival. That's what they call it. The Midsummer Fire Festival is running until July the 5th. So I made my video guide for that, so that's all up if you want to check out what's new, but basically the gist of it is there's one new pet and one new toy. But they've been adding new stuff to the Fire Festival fairly consistently every other year or so over the last couple years, so if you missed more than just the 1 year, you might be behind in a couple things. I definitely don't have all the toys. Not only do I not have the new toy, because it's going to cost 500 blossoms, but I think I'm also missing like the 2 previous toys, because I'm not like a super crazy toy collector. Toys are fun, but I never remember that I have them. I keep like 1 or 2 favorites on my bar somewhere, and the rest of them I just completely forget about, so I don't try too hard to collect them. But I don't think I'm even gonna go back and get those. Like, it's blossom farming, not fun. It's easy. I mean, you just like take as many alts as you need for each of the things you need, and then you just fly around all the different bonfires and you do the bonfire quest, and it gives you a little bit of gold. You get like 10 gold for a friendly fire and 20 for an enemy one, I think, so you'll have a couple hundred gold at the end of it, but oh my goodness gracious, is it dull. So I have my pet, and that's done, and I think I might be done with it now. I think I might be just moving on, and that's okay. In the non-WoW world, Pokemon Go released their gym update. They've been talking about this for a long time. I still play Pokemon Go, don't judge me. So they've changed the way that gyms work in a number of ways. I'm not gonna like go over them all, but I will say that I think it's pretty fun. There's a lot of disagreement in the community over whether or not this is a good change, but I say even if you're not completely sold on it, just give it some time for things to settle down. I feel like the people sniping you out of your gym before you've had at least an hour to sit in there is gonna calm down once people get over like the shiny new thing effect. So I'm really excited about Pokemon. I wish I had more time to play right now. It's really like the weather is super nice here in Oregon, and I just want to like slap on my sunglasses and bathe in sunscreen and take my dog and go do all the Pokemon stuff, but it's just gonna have to wait. It'll still be there later, and in any case, it's gonna be a little bit more than just nice out. It's gonna be really hot for like the next week or so, so it might be best to limit that to at least the mornings anyways. Blizzard has announced some changes to Overwatch and Hearthstone loot boxes, and maybe something else. So Hearthstone card packs and Overwatch loot boxes. The changes are along a similar vein. The Hearthstone one involves you no longer getting dupes unless you have all of the legendary cards. Like if you get a legendary, it's not going to be a dupe legendary, which is great because I get nothing but dupe legendaries. I don't even have that many. I just get the same one over and over again. So they're changing that with starting with the next Hearthstone expansion. It's not going to be available right now, but once the next Hearthstone expansion launches, any Hearthstone pack that you get that has a legendary card in it will be a new legendary, unless you have all of them, in which case you should probably stop buying packs. Something similar is happening in Overwatch. They're not going to guarantee that you won't get a dupe, but they're going to make it much less likely for you to get dupe legendaries. And then the other thing that they're going to do is that if you do get a dupe, it's going to pay you more coins. That should be really good for people that are trying to like completely fill out their collection of skins. I don't know if I'm really trying to 100% my skins, but for like the heroes that you like, it's nice to have like a really nice collection of skins and emotes and intros and whatever for like the heroes that you specifically like playing. So I'm excited about that. I don't know when the Overwatch change is going to go into effect, but I do know that they've actually announced their, kind of related, not really, there's a promotion going on right now with Twitch Prime, which is like Amazon Prime once you link your Amazon with your Twitch account. If you're a Twitch Prime member, which you can be if you have Amazon Prime, you can get a free golden loot box, which is just a loot box that's gold, that has a gold in it. It's got a legendary in it. I opened mine and I got like the Jester Junkrat, which I don't think I'll ever take off Firework Junkrat because he's just too cute with like the smoky and the fireworks, but we'll see. This afternoon, some people from the WoW dev team are going to be doing an AMA and Ask Me Anything on Reddit, so basically a big interview, essentially. That's going to be happening at 1 p.m. Pacific this afternoon. I don't know how long it's going to go on for, but I'm assuming they'll have it wrapped up within like an hour or two, maybe. But my WoW live stream is at 3, so assuming that they're done, or at least mostly done, I figure on my stream, early in the stream, we can look through the AMA and talk about the answers and just kind of discuss all that. So I'm interested to see what they're going to talk about. Supposedly the AMA is going to be dealing with class design, item design, artifacts, and PvP balance. So hopefully we get some good info. I love it when we get new info. When they're just rehashing stuff we already know, it just feels like they're punishing us for keeping up with the news. Questions from this week. Yovo asks, what is your guild aim for this week of Tomb? Also, what do you think about the Kil Jaeden fight on Huruk? So, we're done for the week. We only raid the 2 nights. I would assume for next week, we pretty much just kind of put in our 6 hours a week and get as far as we can get. I know we're going to be trying to funnel 2 and 4Ps to the key people that need it as quickly as possible, but for the most part, we're just going to keep clearing normal and progress through Huruk until eventually we've cleared Huruk, and then eventually we get down into a 1-night clear. And then I think the plan, once we have all of Huruk down to a 1-night clear, we do that like for 6 weeks or so, and then we just take a break until 7.3. But for now, we're just progressing at our own pace and doing our best and seeing how far we can get. For what I think about the Kil Jaeden fight on Huruk, I haven't killed Kil Jaeden on Huruk. I haven't even pulled him. We're only 3 of 9. I haven't actually even looked at the Kil Jaeden fight in Huruk, and this is a little bit sad, but I haven't even seen the Kil Jaeden cinematic. It started to play when we killed Kil Jaeden, but somebody was like, yo, if you want to bonus roll this boss, you should probably cancel that because it's about the same time. And I'm like, oh no, I need a bonus roll, so I canceled it. And I was like, I'll look that up on YouTube later, and I still haven't done that, so I should probably watch the Kil Jaeden cinematic. People are saying it's like important. I don't know. So I can't tell you what I think about Kil Jaeden Huruk because I haven't done it yet, but Kil Jaeden normal felt a little underwhelming. Like, the final bosses of recent raids, like things I'm thinking of were, so like Gul'dan Nighthold, Xavius in Emerald Nightmare, Helio was like this big whole thing, and then even back before that, we had at the end of Hellfire Citadel, we had Archimonde, like these crazy big, kind of demon-focused fights. And you compare those to Kil Jaeden, and Kil Jaeden just feels a little bit washed up. Like, I don't know how exactly to describe it. He feels like he's missing some stuff. He feels like the encounter almost feels like it was supposed to have more going on, but then they didn't. And I don't know if I really mind, because we've had some long final boss fights, and nobody really likes, you know, having the hardest boss of the instance also be a 15-minute fight so that your pulls are like ridiculously long. But it felt like there was very low, and maybe this will be fixed in Huruk, because like I said, I haven't done that yet, but there felt like it was very low ability density. There were long stretches of time in each of the phases, but particularly like the middle one, where he just wasn't doing anything. Like, you would look in your DBM and be like, okay, what's the next mechanic I need to deal with? And it'd be like, oh, there's something, but it's not going to be around for another like 45 seconds, so just smack at him for a while and, you know, tell him how you feel. So it felt a little bit sparse, and I was a little underwhelmed. And I don't know if the fight length really contributed to that, because I was happy to have a shorter fight, but maybe because it was such a short fight and because there wasn't, like, there are mechanics and it's a bigger fight than the other ones, but for whatever reason, it just felt a little bit less than for me. But maybe Huruk will fix that. I haven't done Huruk yet, so I can't pass judgment on it because I've only killed on a normal. Jordan asks, I would like to ask what pets were the hardest to get for you to finish your World Safari achievement? So, you know, in the Northern Barrens, maybe the Southern Barrens, one of the Barrens, that giraffe calf did not want to come home with me. I feel like I had to farm that longer than like the actual tough ones, like the Minfernal. That giraffe calf just would not show up. I had like alts camped out there, and I would check on it like multiple times a day. I would leave it open while I was doing other stuff. I would fly around looking for little giraffe critters. I would kill little gazelles and giraffes endlessly trying to spawn one. And it's not even that hard of a pet to get, but for whatever reason, that one just hated me. It took, I don't remember how long it took, but that was the one that I remember feeling the most angst over, was that giraffe calf. But he's also super cool. He's like really tall. If you've never gotten that giraffe calf, he's very tall. He's a very cute little giraffe, and I strongly recommend him. Mike asks, any suggestions for returning or new players as far as game content, classes to level, and stuff like that? I'll be returning on Monday, so it'll be great to hear about. I have a lock, but I'm not sure if it'll fit my playstyle. So, this is going to be a little different if you're returning or if you're brand new. So if you're returning and you're trying to pick a class and you're not quite sure which playstyle is going to feel right to you because they change a lot every expansion, the best way to go about finding out that is to try some 100 or 110, I don't remember which one, but you can try some max level class trials. So this is something that they added when they were trying to sell those level 100 boosts, but you can try it for free. You don't have to buy a boost. You can do a class trial and try that class out at a very high level for free, and it'll show you your abilities and kind of walk you through them. I think there's something to do with a boat. I haven't tried it. But basically, that's the best way to actually try out the gameplay of those different classes and see what feels fun to you. If you, like, log on to your lock or log on to a shadow priest or a warrior and you're like, man, I don't like pressing these buttons. I don't like waiting for this proc. This thing is annoying. I don't like this. Or maybe you really do like it, then you'll know. So that's the best way for a returning player. If you're a brand new player, then I would recommend trying a couple things up to level like 10, but for the most part, if you're brand new, I would tend more to picking an aesthetic you like a class fantasy that you like, and then learning the mechanics as opposed to trying to figure out the mechanics, because you're not going to find out a whole lot at low level, and max level is going to be very scary. So yeah, class trials for figuring out what class you want to play. And then as far as content, I would just do a lot of quests. Like, they have gone real ham on adding questing content, both for leveling and then for max level. And I mean, like, world quests, I mean the Sargeras campaign, I mean, like, there's some class hall quests, there's like some kind of Illidan thing that I still haven't done yet. There's so many quests. They give you great artifact power. You're going to earn a bunch of gold doing them. You're going to get really comfortable with your class. And then if you do things like the invasion quest, you're going to get nether shards that you can use to upgrade your gear. Basically, questing content is the best way to catch up in both artifact power and gear early on, while you figure out what kind of content you actually want to do. If you want to, like, maybe stay as just like a world quester, or you want to get into raids, you want to get into arena or battlegrounds, or you want to just like collect all the pets, questing is the best starting point for pretty much anybody, because it's going to give you resources that are universally applicable. Another Mike asks, hi Hazel, why don't you have the blue dragon whelp plush? So I have a lot of whelps. You're correct in that I don't have the blue one, and the reason for that is I bought all of these whelps with the exception of the dark whelpling. I had that one already, but the rest of the whelps I all bought when they were on sale on the Blizzard Spring Sale, and they were on sale for a pretty good price. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I think it was less than 10 bucks. It was a real good price. And they had the Azure whelpling in stock at that time, but he was less on sale. He was like $25 down to like $21. It wasn't significantly enough on sale for me to get him at the time. And then the other thing is I kind of like not having all of the plushies, because it's nice to have things to look forward to in life. Like, if I ever get myself to BlizzCon, I heard that they have like a plushie adoption booth, which is adorable, where they like sell the plushies from the games. And I want to buy a WoW plushie at BlizzCon and be like, this one I got at BlizzCon. And that's going to be hard if I have them all already. So it's nice to have some gaps in my collection. Sri Kumar asks, what are these scenarios that you can find in the Dungeon Finder 3rd tab? So I went into the game and it took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about. But these scenarios in that tab were more, there are still scenarios in the game, but you can't really queue for them the same way that you used to be able to. An example of a scenario in the live game would be the last stage of an invasion. The Withered Army Training and Chromie thing are both single player scenarios. So they're basically content designed for, it's kind of like a dungeon, except it's designed for fewer players, essentially. Back in MoP, the reason that's in the dungeon tab was back in MoP when they actually added scenarios, they were queuable. They were queuable, there were quests to do them, I think. There were rewards for doing them, there were like daily bags or whatever. They were basically like queuing for a dungeon, except you would go in with only 3 people, and it would be a shorter form version of content. So that's the reason why they're in the Dungeon Finder. There's no real reason for them to be in there anymore, because you don't really queue for a scenario, aside from when you do the last step of an invasion, and that queues it for you. But that's why they're there. Kayla asks, of the different time-walking pets, which do you think is the cutest, and which do you think is the most useful for battles? So, unless I'm mistaken, there's only 2 time-walking pets, right? There's 2 for MoP. There's the Paradox Spirit, and there's the Infinite Hatchling. I thought the Infinite Hatchling was cuter because dragon babies. I love me some dragon babies. Ever since I read Aragon when I was a kid, I was like, man, I wish I had a dragon baby, so dragon baby. And then, but I think, and it's been a while since I looked, and I haven't really used them in any strategies because any pet that's kind of like available mid-expansion tends to get missed out when I'm making my strategies because I make them at the beginning of expansions. But I think the Paradox Spirit moves were somewhat more useful. They were both cool. They both had interesting and unique movesets, but I feel like the Paradox Spirit might be a little more useful. Honestly, I would say if you have at least one alt, I would say just whenever time walking comes around, do at least that first quest that gives you that 500 dump of badges on 2 characters, and then, you know, after a couple of different time walking events, you'll have enough to get both pets. Because when you can't decide between thing A or thing B, the answer is usually both. Mohammed asks, what's a class or spec that you thought you wouldn't like all that much but ended up loving? So, Brewmaster's one. I never figured that I would tank my monk, and then I tried it, and I was like, oh my gosh, beer. And that was really cool. And I'm still enjoying Brewmaster. I'm cooling down on it a little bit just because the only thing I do in my Brewmaster right now is World Quest, because all I'm trying to do is get just a little bit more artifact power so I can get Concordance and get my Banfu Cub and retire my monk. So because I'm only doing World Quest, I kind of wish that I had gone with a DPS spec and been a Windwalker, because I don't do that much damage even at item level like 890. So Brewmaster at first, and then the other one was I've talked for ages about how Death Knights just didn't click with me. And I figured if I ever did play Death Knight, if I ever had to play a Death Knight, I would probably be the pet spec, because I like pets and exploding corpses sounds strangely satisfying. So I figured I would be an unholy DK if I decided to be a DK, and granted, I've only played on one a teeny tiny little bit. I still need to finish leveling it. But Frost, more fun than I figured. People always go on about how Frost doesn't have enough buttons, or Frost is really easy, or Frost is whatever, and I'm just sitting there with like my 2 swords, and they're both like fiery, but like with ice. And I'm like, man, I have 2 swords, and I know Fury Warriors get that too, but these ones are icy. And it's Frost has been more fun than I thought it would be. So yeah, I would say Brewmaster, and then Frost DK, oddly enough. So that has been my week. I am going out of town. I am leaving on Monday. I am not coming back until very late on Wednesday. So I'm not going to be home for a couple days. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep videos coming out while I'm gone. I'm going to try. I'm going to work through this weekend and try and schedule some videos. But if I fail, and I might, there might be a couple of gaps next week. But I'll be back. I'll be back before the week's over. I will be right back at it when I get home. So thank you for watching. I'm going to be live on stream this afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific, here on my YouTube channel. You can go youtube.com/Hazelnuttygames/live to tune into that. And we're going to be looking over the AMA questions, and then I'm going to be playing something in WoW. I might put another poll up. That worked out really well last time. So I hope to see some of you there, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.